Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, Inez, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. Is your first name Karishma?
Yeah, hi.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome and thank you so much for being here, in fact. Great. So we'll just start in 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay,
Cool.
cool. Thank you.
Welcome.
And Karishma, do you need the video or audio is fine?
Yeah, it's a video.
Oh, so I should show video.
Yes.
Okay.
Once we start, then we would need your video.
Say it again.
Once we start, we would need your video.
Okay, got you.
Because our attendees would love to see you while listening. It becomes more engaging, I will.
Okay, sure.
Love.
And at the end, sure. So at the end, am I able to also get the recording when it's ready?
Yeah, definitely you will get the recording versions. Definitely you will get.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Great. Moreover, we are live on YouTube. Nice.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. Great. Let's just start, nice.
Okay.
Can we have your video?
Sure. Hold on one sec. Let me just.
Perfect. Let's just start. Thank you all for joining us today. This is Karishma Sharma, Marketing Manager, High Counselor. Welcomes you to the webinar Career as Marketing Operations Manager with Inais, Marketing Operations Manager at Oracle Data Cloud. So, we'll quickly discuss today's agenda of the webinar. We'll start with brief High Counselor introduction. Then we will introduce you to our guest speaker, followed by the question and answer session, which is an opportunity for you to ask questions from our guest speaker. Before we get started, I will quickly take you through few ground rules and info about the structure of this webinar. Throughout the webinar, you will be muted through your calls. If you want to ask any question from a guest speaker, I would request you all to please comment here on the YouTube in the YouTube section, because we are live on YouTube. Moreover, you can share this video and even like that. So before we turn it over to our host, we just quickly want to take you through who we are actually. Hi Counselor. So we are Hi Counselor, an online platform and mobile platform even that helps job seekers and students to land into their dream job by connecting them to the employees who work at their company. I am sure you all know today getting coaching from a company insider and can dramatically increase the chances not only to ensure that your job is what you're aiming for is the right fit, but also to make you land in your dream job. So stay tuned until the end of the webinar, and we'll give you a lot more information about the further webinars in this as well. Also, we will be hosting regular free events like this, so please sign up to our platform so that we can keep you posted about the upcoming webinars. So, Inais, I would welcome you. Thank you so much for being here. Our attendees would love to listen you and seek more advices and expertise from you. Thank you so much for your time and participation. We would love to know about your background and professional experience. Over to you, Inais.
Sure. Thank you, Karishma, for having me here. So I have been in the marketing operations field for over 10 years. I started from self-teaching myself about what marketing operations or what marketing automation tools are, then becoming an administrator of the tools, to training, marketing, and sales users to use the tools and system, and to now, becoming an advisor of best practices. So I have experience in both in startups and also in corporations with startup energy. And now I'm in one of the biggest corporations in the world. So I'm very glad to be here to share my experience with you. So to start, so I graduated from the State University of New York with a major in advertising and communications. After graduation, I joined an advertising agency under one of the biggest, global holding agencies called WPP as an account executive. The business unit I was in had 100 people at that time, so it's relatively small, although we have one of the biggest agency in the world. And that, from my first job, that's where I learned one of the most important values of being a marketing operations professional, which is being able to multitask and really work under pressure. Next, I moved to a company called CPA.com, which is part of the American Institute of Certified Accountants. Being a marketing operations and event manager at CPA.com, that's where I picked up skills of kind of juggling different tasks and administrating a customer relationship platform and a marketing automation tool. So I actually wear many hats when I was, in CPA.com. Throughout my time there, I kind of self-learn the systems, and I create very time efficient and cost efficient way of managing all the projects and delivering them on time and on target to the company. And because I self-taught myself the system, so eventually I got so interested in the systems, and eventually I become the go-to person of the system, and even advisors of our partners who, we like to bring into the company as well. Now, after that, after what I achieved in CPA.com, then I moved to a different position, a different company called CGS, stands for Computer Generated Solutions, and led the marketing operations team there. So CGS at that time, it has over 7,000 employees. with major operations in Romania and Chile and New York, where I base. New York is the headquarters of the company. So my responsibilities actually include leading the department. My responsibilities include managing their marketing technology use for the company, providing actionable insights from reports, to creating guidelines and managing all marketing best practices and making sure we really stay on top of the trends. And now I'm with Oracle, Oracle Data Cloud, and I am the marketing operations manager and responsible for managing new business processes and demand generation. So that's my background and professional experience in a nutshell.
Wow, that's such an interesting journey, I must say. Nice. Great. So how do you define a marketing operations manager role?
Sure. I guess for people who have been studying like marketing and our marketing operations, you may have heard of these organizations called Series Decisions. So for people who don't know, it's a global research, B2B research and advisory company. So that definition of marketing operations is, the marketing operations is responsible for enabling the performance of marketing functions throughout measurement, planning, technology, and data management efforts. So how I see it from my experience is marketing operations management is the link to bridge our marketing processes and functions together. And it is aimed to make all marketing investments trackable and to give visibility of the return of the investment, to really prove that marketing is generating all of this revenue and making processes easy for marketers. So let me just go into details of like the whole background. So before the digital age, before social media, the traditional roles in marketing departments are marketing manager, content manager, product managers, designers, and of course the marketing hat, the CMO. The marketing, however, the marketing department is always seen as an expense department. The company could spend millions of dollars in print ads and TV commercials, but there's really no way to really prove that, yes, the traffic to your website, the foot traffic to your stores were actually brought by the ads you post. That's no linkage. But since the merge of digital advertising, right? Banner ads, your website, smart TVs, your apps on the phone, there suddenly is the possibility to be able to track those traffic and to find out actually the person that comes to your website now actually click on the Google ad you post first. So with that, that kind of generated need to be able to have someone to really look at the data or bring those data in to the marketing department for marketers to see. Now, on the other hand, consumers now they're also able to do all the research, online. Research what cosmetics that you want to buy. You read all the reviews. You read product comparison. You read all what other users are reviewing different products. So they do all the comparisons before they actually come to your website. Now that means the need to produce articles and content that the company themselves can control or manage are much higher now. So companies or marketing department actually need to deliver content, articles, product comparison, all that much faster. Like all those education materials have much more content. They need to be printed out in a much organized timeline. So with that, with all the trends that I just mentioned, so that actually produced the role of marketing operations. So the purpose of marketing operation is having someone who loves technology, or at least who are comfortable with technology, have the curiosity of technology, and go in and to be the person to be able to bring and link everything together and make and create a repeatable process for marketers. So I think marketing operations manager is a very important role in today's world, and could become more important too.
Great. It seems to be very exciting. Thank you so much,
Mm-hmm.
Inais. Inais, what is the most fun part of your job?
I would have to say the most fun part of the job is making an impact to the organization, and being able to dive into data. For people who are curious, for people who like to do investigation and find out why, not afraid of getting your hands dirty, to look at every single detail. It will be a fun job for you. So you dive into details, you investigate, you look at technology to see what happens. But also with that knowledge, you can make changes to use the system, right? And with that knowledge of that practices that you study, you'll be able to make changes that could make immediate effect to your sales team, or to show a different data to the organization, and eventually impact the revenue line. So let me just give you some examples. So for example, we use a tool. I think a lot of marketing operations, like I talk about systems, our technology. So our marketing operations tool, there are many out there, in the market. So basically, what the tools do, a few things. So main part is really managing leads. These are the people who filled out a form on your website, and they say, I'm interested in your product, or they could just, download some type of content. So for people, so for a person who, let's say, filled out a form on your website, and they actually are a very hot company that your sales team have always tried to get to, but they having problems, like they were just not able to sell, team in your company just not able to find the right person to talk to. So now, with this marketing technology, this person actually filled out a form on your website, and you can actually set an alert and tell yourself and the entire sales team that, this hot leads from this target company just filled out a form. So you can immediately highlight it to sales and tell them, this is the one person, this is the company you always want to talk to. And now, someone just knocking on our door, please talk to them immediately. So you're the person who built the process. And you're the person who can pass the message to sales. So I think making that impact, and also kind of looking into technology and kind of building the process is a really fun part, to me. So
Great. That's even too exciting, I would say. So, Inais, what are the 3 challenges associated with marketing operations manager position?
The challenges, I would say one is, which is kind of touch on. One is you're working in technology, so that's always one thing to, technology is not perfect. That's why there's so many troubleshoot documentation. There's so much like education. So I think one of the challenge is to really have the mindset to be able to drop everything and jump onto a task or cases that you need to troubleshoot. Because again, working in technology every day, and you need to dive deeper and peel out layers to find out what caused the problem. If that's a problem that you can solve, or if that's a problem that you actually have to talk to your technology vendor to solve that. So I would say that's a challenge, but a good challenge. And then at the manager level, another challenge I'd say is to really bridge the gap between marketing and sales team. It's a very interesting role because I think you will, as you have more experience in the world, in this environment, you will hear that marketing and sales, they don't necessarily think the same way. So being an operations manager, one of the functions is to align both teams, right? To talk to sales and understand what kind of companies, what kind of individuals that they would like to talk to, that they think that would be ideal profile of the customers and will likely to purchase the product. And then kind of bring the information talk to marketing and say, hey, marketing, let's go marketing manager or marketing product manager and say, this is the profile, these are the people or prospect that sales would like to talk to. So please create a campaign, please create content or articles that can actually talk to this specific group of people. So you're actually bridging the gap, but that's not always easy. So I think the challenge is to really understand both worlds and try to find ways to make it work. So when I say make it work, could be communication styles, could be the frequency of the communications, or could be kind of prioritizing what are most important between both teams and kind of link it together. And then the third challenge, I would say data, because one of the roles of or functions of marketing operation is to create reports, like I mentioned before. But you cannot have a reliable report without reliable data. Now, data, as we know, so when I mention data, I'm talking about contacts, like the prospects, like an individuals who comes from a website, or an individual that when our sales rep met at an event, or a company and a company of the individuals, like how the company are being stored, are we flagging the industry correctly in our system in a database? So I guess the challenge is to make sure that we're capturing all data as much as we can, as soon as we can, and also as accurate as we can. So that determines by how you build like marketing operations, how you work with other team, like it could be IT team, or could be you and marketing managers and you and sales, and making sure that you have a repeatable process and make it easy for them to bring their data into the system that you manage. Second is to make sure the data are entered correctly. You have to identify what are important and what could be, that's fine. I know sales, you're very busy, so this kind of information is nice to have, but not necessary for us to perform our job. So the challenge is really making sure data is accurate. You capture all the data, and you're also making like kind of building relationship with the users, the actual users, the inputters of the data, that they're willing to follow the guidelines that you set up. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the answer, Nice. So my next question is, how to break in marketing operations role?
Okay. So I think first and foremost is technology again. So to understand, first is ask the question, like what marketing system the department's using or the company's using. And next is to try to get a training of those tools. I really understand the function, like what's the purpose of that tool, and how to use it. Like have a really good understanding of both. And second is to understand the data structure. because knowing what could be gathered and what needs to be gathered would actually help you to perform your work, your job better. And you know what obstacle that you need to take care of first, or actually what's the limitation of what you can perform within your role. So again, to summarize is to understand what marketing technologies the company is using and try to get a training of those technology as soon as possible. Find out your responsibility of that technology moving forward. And then next is to understand the data structure, like how, what kind of data is being captured in the system, how they're being used, and so forth. So that I think the two are the most important things to break into the role.
Fantastic. So what are the 3 challenges associated with marketing operations manager position?
Yes. So I think I mentioned, I answered that question earlier. So the 3 challenges, let me see what I just mentioned. The first challenge is, our technology, like troubleshooting and making.
I'm sorry.
No, done.
So what are the top 3 skills that are needed for entry level marketing operations manager position?
Sure, absolutely. The top number 1 is the candidate will need to have the understanding of different arrays of marketing technologies. Let me just list it out. So, for example, marketing automation tools such as Eloqua, Marketo, Pardot, Add-on, and HubSpot. All those available marketing tools. So understand what they are and what they do. Mainly what they do is lead management and scoring, marketing campaigns, operations. So I think those are very important, even though you may not have the background now, but try to do research. There are a lot of online materials or product comparisons, or even go to the website of those products or those companies to understand what they do. So again, marketing automation tools. Next is understand what paid search is and how to run from a company perspective. So such as Google AdWords, how it works, and social ads, like how it works with all the LinkedIn, Twitter, all those ads, how it works, like how from the company ends, how to plan for it and how to make it successful. So there are a lot of articles that you can study. And then third, under the point number 1 is web analytics tool. For example, my main tool is Google Analytics and SEO, like search optimizing tool. So what are they? What are the functions? So having that understanding, I think would actually be very, very important, make you very competitive candidate for an entry-level marketing operations. Now, second, when I talk about tools, second is, really, you as a person, as a candidate. So really having a big interest in diving into data and creating reports. So meaning the skills of really looking at details. So I think that's the second, important thing. The third is having a curiosity of having problems. Even though I love it as the third point, but actually I would say that's the most important quality for you to excel in, a marketing operations manager role. So really having that interest and curiosity in finding out where the problem is or finding areas that can be improved. So that would be the most important thing to have to keep you excel in this role.
Thank you so much for the answer, Inez. So what are the 2-3 most important certifications an applicant can do to strengthen her application for marketing operations manager job?
Okay, sure. So definitely try to pick a class and get certified with one of those marketing automation tools. So again, Alisto, Eloqua, Marketo, HubSpot add-ons, all that. You can do your research online and see what's the top marketing automation tool out there in the market, and then go to your website. A lot of them, I would say almost all of them, have the university or some kind of education for marketing operations professional, like you're interested in it, to take and get yourself certified. So definitely get one of those. Those would be really, really useful. Second is not necessarily certification, because it could, the price of that could really be costly. But try to do research and understand what the customer relationship management tool, namely, Salesforce. So to get understanding what it does. But the certification of that, I would say, is relatively pricey compared to the marketing automation tool. So do a little bit of research and see if it's something that you can afford. But that would be a nice to have, because both marketing automation tools and customer relationship tools actually work like hand in hand together. They cannot, they cannot go with one another. Mm-hmm.
Great. Thank you so much for the answer. Nice. What is
Sure.
the best job search strategy for marketing operation manager position?
The best search. So think through, besides all the portals available now, all the biggest website, or portals you can find jobs. But I would say first think through what work environment that you makes you most excited about. So pay attention to the size of the company, because whether you stay in the startups or actually work in the corporations are very different. Like your path could be very different. Like what you learn could be very different. So I'll say the strategy is to, when you find a company who's looking for marketing operations job, do a little bit more research on the company, look at the size of the company, and find out whether your role is part of a marketing operations team, or you actually own the system. Like you're the only one person who's managing our marketing operations. So I think that makes a huge difference. To start, don't be afraid of starting with a startup, a small company, or a big company, but with a smaller, a young marketing function, marketing operations function, because from there you can actually learn a lot that will make your path much greater in the future. Let me see. Second is also pay attention to the tools that you will learn or expected to handle. So the more tools that you'll be able to learn and handle, again, that will help you to grow into a bigger role, and have more knowledge and really help you your career down the path. Yep, I think those are the best search strategy that I can recommend.
That's fantastic, Anais. So, Anais, we would love to hear 3 tips from your end to make your resume stand out for marketing operations position.
Okay, sure. So I would say emphasize the skills that I mentioned before. So let me just see. So emphasize that you have the knowledge of what the tools are, what they do. So tools, the marketing tools manage lead, manage lead scoring, they manage marketing campaigns. So start to try to mention those words in your resume. So let the recruiter know that you know the business, you know what you are going to manage. So I think that's definitely a main point. And also emphasize that you love, hopefully you do, emphasize that you have a curiosity to look at details. You're details oriented, and you are, your interest in really diving deep into data and solving problems. So that's a really good quality for marketing operations manager to have. And then last, is to, if you have any certifications, of course, mention that. Also, one more thing is, I think it's really general. So mention about with actual examples, because marketing operations professional, we like details. So if any numbers that you can, either a school project that you did, that you help to make certain change, try to quantify it, or even from your previous job experience, that you actually help to make like improvement, like cutting costs or cutting down time to get to the results. Mention that and use like quantity wording. So that would actually help as well.
Wow, that seemed to be really useful and nice. I am definitely going to just include it in my resume. Anyways, so what are the 3 common interview questions asked in marketing operations manager position interview?
Good questions. Let me think. So I think the most commonly asked questions are, it's all kind of all circled back to what I mentioned. I would say, give me details of how you solve a very difficult, complex situation in the past. Because asking that question or the answer to that question would give me the work that you put into solving a problem, and also the logistic part, like the logics that behind you or the people you work with as a team to solve the problem. So the answer, I would say, is less important, but more important is the logic and the path you take. And then from your answer, I could also tell like how you work with other people too, if other people involved. The second question would be like how give me an example of how you work with other teams or other people to get a project delivered or done. So again, that would give me a bit of idea of how you communicate with other people and how your personal like how you convince other people, or as a leader, like how you how you lead the team to deliver the goal, either a school project or work project. And then third would be Excel. Like how good is your Excel experience or background or proficiency? Because a lot of although we don't like to do things offline, we need to use technology. But oftentimes we also need to work in Excel too. So another thing is like, what's your proficiency level of Excel? Tell me like some of the advanced formulas or functions that you used before. So yeah, I think those are the 3.
Great. Thank you so much for such useful information, Inais. So what
You're welcome.
a candidate should consider while selecting an employer for marketing operations position?
Say that again, sorry.
Sure. 3 things a candidate should consider while selecting an employer for marketing operations position.
3 things an employee should think about when selecting an employer.
3 things. Yeah, candidates should consider while selecting an employer.
Okay. So sure. So think about if you want to start in a startup environment or an established company, because that would determine your career path and your responsibility moving forward. So in a startup, you will probably be like responsible for a lot of different tasks and jobs. You will probably be very busy as well because you'll be wearing different hats. but you can learn a lot in a very short time. And with the established company, your role is more defined, and you could be a gear in a bigger marketing operations machine. So you will have a team that will be able to support you, so you won't be solving the problem yourself. But just think about what type of environment that you're comfortable with, and that you want to stay in. Second is try to think about the size of the operations team. I know I kind of like mentioned it, whether they startup or established company kind of answer that, but actually if you dive into the detail of how like the size of the marketing operations team and then how many people are actually doing like different functions, I think it will help give you really good idea of how like what level of interactions you need to work with different people in your team, and then what type of support that you will have. So in terms, again, you will know how much effort you will put into this job and how much opportunity you will have. Lastly, so usually a marketing automation technology needs to connect with a client relationship management tool, like I mentioned. So ask about what client relationship management tool they use, and if there's another team that's managing that, because that will actually help you to determine or kind of have an assessment or prepare you before you go into this position of like how much work you need to put into really working with other teams, and how much flexibility you have. And of course, the other things is really general, will apply to any of the position that you're looking for. Make sure that the company values employees. So really balancing everything out, and then it's the company that values you. I think that's important, and that's really makes the job fantastic too. Mm-hmm.
Wow, thank you so much, Unai, for sharing this information.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So here comes my next question. What is the career path of a marketing operations manager?
Okay. So career path. So if I think about from like a mid-sized company, a marketing operations manager would start from I guess marketing operations manager, then next will advance to marketing operations director, which will be more in a strategic thinking role. So marketing operations manager, I think most of the time you'll be working in systems, like really diving deep into data, diving deep into structure, diving deep into the functions and making change in the system. So it's more execution. And then when you have enough knowledge, then you could grow into a role which you could help you, like with your knowledge you could make like educated suggestions and decisions for the organization in a higher level. So that will bring you to marketing operations director I mentioned. Now from there, there could be different routes that you can go. So you could be a demand generation director as well. So demand generation basically it's finding out where the potentials of new business are, and then advise it to both marketing and sales team. So because you have the knowledge of reports, and you look at so many reports when you're in marketing operations manager role, so that will actually help you to develop into like a demand generation mindset. So the next step beyond that, it's unknown. I want to say unknown because it's still a new role, a new function that came out less than 10 years ago. So the path, there are many talks and many advisors like in the industry that we're saying this role could imagine to be the next CMO, the chief of marketing, the chief of marketing department even. Because when you go to the director level, a lot of companies actually seeing this function, like marketing generation director or a marketing operations director, as the kind of chief of staff in the marketing team next to the chief of marketing. So this, as a grow, could be the next chief of marketing officer role. Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you so much. So I'm going to ask you a very interesting question, and I'm sure all our attendees would love to listen your views on this. So what are the three differences in being a marketing operations manager at a startup versus big company?
Okay, sure. Great question. So marketing, it's funny because I have the experience in, I would say, like both worlds as well. I would say three are responsibility and career path and the thinking process for impact. So for responsibility, so in large corporations, the function of marketing operations is divided into different roles. For example, a data analytics manager would be to do reports. And they could have a marketing operations manager to operate technology tools. And in some really big corporations, each of these functions I just mentioned could have like multiple managers that do the same task, but supporting different business units. So for example, a department could have 5 marketing operations managers, but manager A would support the business in US. Manager B could support the business in Europe. Manager C could support the business in Asia, for example. So that will, divide it into smaller buckets with people really, specialize in one area. And in startups, you will likely be the one person to responsible for all functions, email, building reports, technology, looking at best practices, creating guidelines. And that means you have the full ownership and responsibility for what you create and maintain. But it also means that you need to solve the problems on your own. So it really depends on which type of scope that you like or you enjoy the most. For career path, your career path in a large corporations is predictable. So you may do the same set of tasks for several years. You will have a clearly defined career path that you can follow. And as you develop your skills and gain greater experience, because in bigger corporations, they have planned a path for you to go through. But in startups, you frequently pick up new responsibilities. You have more room to experience new concepts. And one of the great things about the rapid pace of a startup is that you will have the opportunity to learn a variety of transferable skills. And by working at a startup, you will learn how these pieces can fit together and be ready to apply that knowledge anywhere else. Then lastly is what type of impact or what type of working style you like. In large corporations, and depends on your role, but being a marketing operations manager, like I mentioned, you could spend more time in execution because your role is in managing technology. So you're building campaigns. You could be advising how to build a campaign in the most effective way. But you're more like your hands are in technology, which is great. A lot of people will enjoy it, including myself, because I'm interested, within the technology, kind of building reports and looking at data itself. Now, in startups, not only you need to do everything I mentioned, but you also will be exercised to a kind of strategic thinker too. Because I mean, it also depends on your path, but it allows you to go from handling the execution, but also think about, oh, what I think could be best for the organization, what I think could be best for the sales team. Then you can go into tell the sales team, hey, this is my thought. What do you think? So it's kind of very different. So it depends on what type of environment that you're most comfortable with and excited about.
Very interesting and nice, I must say. Thank you so much for such a lovely answer. So here comes my next question, and nice. What advice do you have for an aspiring marketing operations manager to be successful in their career?
Okay, be curious. That I would think number one advice. Be very curious about everything you do. Keep learning because it's a very new field compared to all the other industry, and even the technology available is still growing. It changes every day or every month, and there's so many tools, so many marketing technology out there that's coming up. So be curious about the tools that you're working, you manage now, and be curious about the all the technology available in the market, and be curious about like where you can go too, because this new field you could go so far to become even the next chief of marketing too. So be curious.
Great. Thank you so much, Anais, for the answer.
Sure.
And thank you so much for sharing your advice, expertise, and insights with us. So, quickly now, I would like to share a brief story of High Counselor Inception. We are there, three major reasons due to which most of the people find difficulty in getting jobs. So, let us discuss that. The first reason is lack of connection with company insiders. Second one is lack of information about company and job position. And the third one is candidates are not well prepared at times for the interview. So, we solve this problem for everyone. How do we do that? I'll give you an example. Let's suppose I want to get a job at Facebook. I could log into High Counselor website or mobile app, search for a current employee working at Facebook, and immediately book a phone and email appointment for tips and career advice. Yes, you all got me right. I can take one-to-one coaching from someone working in my dream company. So, our counselors work in top companies in product technology or consulting domains. If that is your target industry, definitely check out highcounselor.com. Just like this webinar, we conduct webinars every week. Don't forget to sign up on High Counselor platform. It will help us to keep you posted about upcoming awesome webinars. So, we upload all our recordings on the YouTube channel. And moreover, as I told you in the very beginning, we were live also today where you can share the recordings with your friends also. So, this recording will also be uploaded in the next few days. Do not forget to hit the bell icon here. If you can see my mouse, to hit the bell icon and subscribe to our channel for the upcoming webinars. If you enjoyed our webinar, it will be great, if you can share it amongst your social media channels with your friends who can also get information from this valuable webinar. Finally, I hope you all found this webinar really helpful. We'll send you a survey link in the next couple of days. We'll be hosting events like this regularly. So please let us know what you think so that we can ensure that you are getting maximum benefit and value from those webinars. Thank you so much, Anais, for being here with us. We loved hearing to you. We really value your time and participation. And thank you everyone for attending this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And thank you
Bye-bye.
everyone
Good
for
evening.
joining.
Sure.
Bye.